What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Tell Me Why Chapter 1. So this is just the first episode, first chapter of this game. I do want to be very clear, very transparent in the very beginning here by saying that Microsoft did provide me a code for this game. So I did receive the code from them. With that being said, that changes absolutely nothing about what I'm going to say. And I honestly, look, I'm going to try to be fair. I'm very up and down with Don't Nod in general. My history with them is I absolutely adore the heck out of the first Life is Strange. I really absolutely love it. I actually really love Before the Storm as well, but I would say, and you know, that's not even Don't Nod, but I really love the first season. Life is Strange 2 just did everything, in my opinion, wrong, and so that's probably a minority opinion. I get that I'm in the small minority of people with that. In fact, I covered that game, and I got probably the biggest amount of hate I've ever gotten in my life on YouTube, which is cool. It's what happens when you are clearly against something that the most people are for. So for Tell Me Why, I wanted to be as honestly as fair as I possibly could, okay? And what I will say about this game is it did surprise me. I was expecting it to not be very good, and I would say this game is probably above average. I would say, is that the best way of saying it? No, and I will explain, as we go through this video, but I would say I am happily impressed with this game, and it's only the first chapter. It starts, in my opinion, very, very slow. Now, I believe I'm not allowed to talk about certain things, so I won't talk about certain of the story beats. I'm going to have to kind of work my way around that. That's okay. With that being said, the game, I think, starts very, very slow, and I think it ends very, very, quickly. You know what I mean? I think it's got a really solid ending. It changes things up on you at the very end. There's definitely some twists. And honestly, the whole episode or the whole chapter is built kind of around twists, is built around these characters kind of thinking one thing or doing one thing, and then things kind of change on them as you go through it. That's probably the best way I can say without, getting into too many spoilers. And that is cool. It is cool. It takes a little while to get there, but there's absolutely mystery involved, which is cool. And honestly, with a game like this, okay, I get because what they're trying to do also is tell a story of these two, originally two sisters, and then we obviously had the girl Tyler, who's now Tyler, right, changed into a man. So that's kind of that character's backstory. But what's important is, and honestly, what's important to me too, is that you make them people. And I don't think that's a negative thing to say, is you have to make these people like actual individuals. You have to give them backstory. You have to give me reasons to care about them, besides the fact that one went through a transition. Okay, that alone should not make anybody, by the way, care about an individual. That's just my opinion. If you don't agree with it, totally cool. And in all honesty, Allison I really, really liked. I would say Tyler is my main critique with the game, and it's not because of anything political or anything like that. I don't take that, the wrong way. Honestly, with Tyler, I did like him to a fair extent. I liked, the ending, which again, I can't really talk about that part, but throughout the entire episode, it just was like, I don't know, you have to build up these characters, I think, very, very carefully. And with Tyler, everything was always about him. Literally everything. He was very, very, I would say, like, moody / like whiny. And now, again, I get the situation. I get that, well, yeah, if you have all of these people looking at you a certain kind of way, yeah, you probably are going to act out in some way. Okay, so again, I understand it, but at the same time, and there are examples. The problem is I can't talk about the examples, but there are several kind of story beats, and especially when you get to the ending and you kind of figure out what's happened and how it really does impact Allison too. When you're going through the chapter, again, a lot of it, I don't think it's unfair to say, a lot of it is on Tyler. A lot of it, Tyler's just, woe is me. We need to do this for me, okay? I don't know why they did that, okay, because it honestly makes him kind of come off as a brat. But then when you get to the ending and you figure out what's going on, it's like, well, he's not being much, he's not being very aware of Allison's emotions during all this stuff too. You know what I mean? I think that comes off, the more I think about it, it comes off the wrong way on him. It makes him look really bad. But besides that, I would say besides his character, and again, I don't think I didn't like despise him. Okay, I just thought he was bratty. I didn't like the fact that it was all seemingly about him. The excuse of what he's going through aside, again, I guess you can lean on to that, and that is a big part of the story. But the thing that I like about this game is, again, they have this synchronization power, okay? And they can basically see memories from the past. That's cool. I love that. It's not as cool as Max's time travel, but I think it's the next cool. It's way better than Daniel's like force powers, okay? Because ultimately that's all they ended up being. This one I actually really, really enjoy. I like that at some point you can even basically make the decision of who you want to agree with, whose memory you want to agree with. They can talk to each other basically in each other's heads. Really cool. I don't like the way that they kind of address it, because it was said in the game, and I don't think this is spoilers, it was said that they could always kind of talk to each other in their head, but they can never like relive memories. Then all of a sudden they just do it, and like everything, like it's just completely normal. You know what I mean? There's no like realization that like, oh my God, we can do this now. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's actually a monumental thing. It's kind of like, oh, all right. I mean, we kind of thought that this would be possible. It's just we never really expected it. So that while that caught me off guard, a game like this, you can tell the story of transitioning, but even Don't Nod themselves have said that is part of the story, but it's not the whole story. So you do have to have other things in it. And like I said, my worry going into this game was that it was starting way too slow, and what can actually keep me going in a game like this, because if it's not the supernatural stuff, Life is Strange, the first Life is Strange, to me, it was built on many pillars. I think the characters were very strong. I think Arcadia Bay was its own kind of character, in its own. The mystery of what was going on or what was going to go on, okay? And then her powers. And that's in no order, but her powers, I would say, are one of at least the top 4 pillars of the first Life is Strange. So if you don't have supernatural stuff being like the main thing, which this game dabbles in it. There's like fairy tales. Obviously, there's something going on with the mom, okay? And so like there is building a mystery, but there's nothing all that supernatural. So when you do something like that, you need to kind of supplement it with something. You need to have something on there or something in the game that can make us say, okay, well, let's not focus on supernatural. Let's focus on something else. And for this game, it's the kind of detective work or the figuring out what exactly happened with the mom is what they believe the actual truth, right? All that kind of stuff. That's what this episode really pushes at you. And honestly, I think it does well because, again, it makes you go one way to kind of change things up, and it changes things up quite often. You're never really going straight forward for all that long. So, I do have, gripes with this game. I think it would be very unfair to you guys and even to me as a person to say, like, I love this episode or, nothing was wrong with it. I thought there were several key flaws with this. At the same time, I was expecting, honestly, like a trash fire from what we've seen, just in general. And also, again, Don't Nod's history, to me, has not been very good. In fact, Don't Nod in general, see, this is why I'm not afraid to say these things, even though I have the code. Don't Nod, I respect them. I respect any game developer. Again, the first season of Life is Strange is one of my favorite things ever. One of my favorite games of all time. That will never change. But to me, that's probably the only good thing Don't Nod has ever made. You look at Remember Me, you look at Vampire. I didn't like any of these games. Life is Strange 2, I hated. Okay, so none of these games have really impressed me besides the first Life is Strange. So they have a lot of proving to do, and I think in this game, they've proven that they can do a slight twist on it. Obviously, there's music, and the music is absolutely incredible. Don't Nod has always been very, very good with like their musical choices. How it looks, obviously, it keeps looking like a progression of the first Life is Strange. There are still some issues. There's some like jankiness. It still kind of looks weird and very rough along the edges sometimes. Like it very much seems like it's a smaller studio kind of game, one that maybe is ambitious but doesn't have the budget to kind of show off the graphics. Okay, so it's a mixed bag, but I would say overall I'm impressed with it. I'm actually impressed with it. I am into the story. They got me in, and ultimately that's kind of the only thing that they have to do, right? Doesn't matter if it's rough around the edges. Are you invested in the core tale, the core story that's going on in the game? Yeah, I am. I'm excited to see what happens in Chapter 2. I want to see how it ends. I want to see what's going on with the mom. I want to see how this adventure, like all that stuff, I'm pumped for. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of power in that. I think Don't Nod actually nailed that. So, it's actually on Xbox Games Pass, so you don't even have to pay for it, right? As long as you're paying, the subscription fee for that. So I would say pretty darn solid. You don't even have to have that much of an investment into it. Comes out every week. So Chapter 2 is coming out this Thursday. I'll do the same thing. I'll review Chapter 2, review Chapter 3. Excited to see where this story goes. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Have you played Tell Me Why? Did you like it? Did you have problems with it? Do you agree with my opinion on it? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, reviews for the other 2 episodes, and then maybe we can talk about the game once it's all done as well, coming very, very soon, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on that video.